Good morning to you. I am Mark Stott with HurricaneTrack here, Friday now, the 14th of February, 2025. Not going to keep you long today, but I did want to make sure that you're paying attention to the weather. We are busy people, busy lives, lots going on every day, and with the weekend coming up, we do have a severe weather threat here for parts of the Southeast, including the threat of flooding, so I want to make sure I address that, and then I'm going to leave you with a little bit of a teaser as to what we're going to talk about on Monday, the potential of a significant winter storm for the east and northeast, maybe later next week. Like I said, we'll let that simmer over the weekend. We'll talk about that on Monday. All right, so let's get started. First of all, National Weather Service homepage, a couple things to point out. Storm system has come into the west. We've seen some mud flows and heavy rain and resulting impacts in Southern California, as we expected that would be the case. The rainfall record of not having any rain was broken after 214 days. Vegas finally saw some rain and snow. Very heavy snow in the Sierra, that's still going on. Lots of winter storm watches and warnings throughout the west, which, aside from the impacts to people, and I guess animals, right, whatever, but nature seems to handle things a lot better than we do. I would think we could all agree to that. But this is good to see. You need the precip out there, so that's great. Not so great is this green in here. That's your flood watches. And again, you can go to weather.gov, National Weather Service. You pay for it, crowdfunded through taxes. I mean, come on, use it. Put your zip code in right here, or just click on the map. Find out the information of the area that you're most interested in, and you are good to go. Again, it's all about being aware. So look, for today, severe weather threat, really not a big deal. But tomorrow, absolutely, especially in the yellow and that orangish color, the enhanced area. Tornado threat, 10% in February is significant, and this might go up. We'll see. That's, still 24 hours plus away. The wind threat, substantial as well, and there could even be some hail, large hail threat at 15%. The key to this, I am not a major severe weather expert by any stretch, but I know how to point out the impacts and what to expect. And the easiest thing to take away from this is if you live in that area, that enhanced area, just drop me back out for a second, you just got to be paying attention, because the key to this, we're going to get a line that's going to develop as the cold front comes through, a very sharp defined line. That's going to have the threat of straight line winds, maybe some of that QLCS stuff, the quasi-linear convective system as we call it. And maybe with any storms that can develop out ahead of that line individually like that, and this is just an example as I'm drawing on here, those could be your supercells where they are discrete and by themselves. Any of those that get going ahead of the main line, that's what we're most concerned with, that we could get some rather nasty tornadic activity down here. So just pay attention. If you know people that are down here, that live here, traveling through there, whatever, just heads up. We got birthday parties, celebrations, weddings, I don't know, all kinds of stuff. And it's the weekend. You try to turn your attention away from the stuff that bothers you throughout the week. You got to still pay attention to the weather, though, because it does not care about our plans. Seriously. So just pay attention. That's all I'm asking, all right? The other aspect to this is the threat of heavy rain. This is a great infographic here from the Weather Prediction Center, a.k.a. the WPC. And, yeah, we got this storm system that will be moving across the country. And then we have this threat of flooding plus icing. It's just a dynamic period right now with what we call this thermal gradient across the nation's midsection through here. Arctic air going to be coming down, subtropical jet, Gulf moisture injected in as well. Very dynamic, absolutely. So you need to be paying attention to all of this, all right? The other part, again, that flooding, moderate risk now from Tennessee up through most of Kentucky. Really, you need to go to that weather.gov, and just as an example, click somewhere in Kentucky. You say, hey, I'm up here near Lexington. I want to know what's up. Click that, and then if it's in red, that means it's important, all right? So you can click on it, you learn what you need to learn about what could be coming your way, and hopefully save yourself some problems, or at least mitigate property damage. And the most important thing, and I mean this sincerely from right there, right in my heart, I want you to be safe. Because, hey, look, if you're not alive, you can't watch my videos, all right? We'll look at it from a selfish perspective. I need you around so that you can at least watch what I'm doing. So we'll just make it all about me. It's like the help me, help you, right? But really, it's a very serious situation unfolding this weekend, and I just want people to pay attention and make sure that they do stay safe. So this is what it looks like from the model perspective. Now, this is the HRRR, the High Resolution Rapid Refresh model. This is the 6Z run. Let me jump up to the 12Z. Hey, look at that. It finished up. It says rapid refresh, so there you go. All 48 hours are complete, so this is the most recent run of the high resolution. We call this a CAMS, one of the CAMS models, the convectively allowing model or the convective allowing model. In other words, it's pretty good at seeing convection or thunderstorm activity, and that's what we're really interested in. So that being the case, let's drop me out of the frame, and let's move this forward through time. This is today, and again, a few thunderstorms in and around this vicinity. Nothing to be too concerned with. It is tomorrow. Once we get into tomorrow and tomorrow afternoon, this will be 6, 7 a.m. Central Time, something like that. And then you get into the early morning, afternoon hours, early morning into afternoon hours, what I meant to say. There are some of your storms out ahead of the main line that we have to watch for. And nothing really jumps out just yet. There's a few of them in Mississippi that we're going to have to really watch. You're going to definitely be seeing tornado watches coming. But there's the line, the main line, and there's that heavy rain as advertised coming up through Tennessee and into Kentucky. And remember, Kentucky is pretty much all hilly and mountainous. And, you know, the geographic nature of it, fast-flowing streams, creeks, and rivers, you got to be aware of that. But that's the threat. And you can see that line finally takes over very solidly in the overnight hours. So it's going to be sort of two different rounds through Mississippi, and then that's eventually going to move through Tennessee and into Alabama and eventually into the Carolinas, but we'll worry about that later on. So heads up, this is your key indicator that you need to be paying attention to the weather, especially out ahead of that line. It looks like Mississippi could be the most under threat of these supercells developing out ahead of that line there. So just watch, keep the phone handy, turn your notifications on, make sure you know whether radio has got batteries, all that good stuff, because it's important. We got to keep you around. We want you. All right, got to keep you safe. Now look, next week, I'm seeing it in the models, a major winter storm possible. The GFS, the Euro, the major global models, the operationals, and some of the ensembles. Model land is alive and well with people watching and speculating, but it's about a week away, roughly 5, 6, 7 days, something like that, depending on the speed of how all of this comes together. So let's reconvene on Monday. Maybe I'll do a YouTube Live Monday morning. We'll have a Monday morning discussion like this. I can't even talk. A Monday afternoon discussion like this, as we'll know a lot more, again, as the models simmer over the weekend. I mean, honestly, we'll be a couple days closer, so it just makes sense to revisit that idea of a major winter storm for next week. We'll talk about that more on Monday. But this weekend, watch. 2 eyes, right? Pay attention to that. Got to keep you safe, got to keep you aware, and that's the first part. What G.I. Joe say? Knowing is half the battle. There you go. Now you know. Severe weather threat for the Deep South. Pay attention, keep you alive, so that I can see you again on Monday. All right? You got a deal. I'm Mark Sutter. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you on Monday.